All right, everybody, you know what time it is. The time for the Real Talk Sports Show, and it's coming up right now. Bam! We're here, everybody. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for those of you who are watching us here on every single portal that you can. Big shout out to those of you watching us on Roku TV, on the Phoenix Entertainment Channel, and on C Room Sports and Entertainment Network. We also thank God for those of you who might be listening only on audio on WIGO 1570 Atlanta's Incredible Radio or on WIGO1570.com. And of course, big shout out to those on Periscope, especially replay viewers. They told us Periscope was gone, but we're still here. And thank you for those of you watching us, of course, our longtime friends on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Well, of course, as you know, anytime I do this sports show, I must bring on one of the most beautiful women in the world of sports talk radio, a former stellar athlete herself, and a beauty queen. The one and only Tree Dolman is in the building. Welcome, lady.
Hello, I thank you. You always make me feel so special.
I mean, how can we do otherwise? Well, a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Beautiful here for those of people who live in Metro Atlanta, right? I mean, it's like, what was it, 80 degrees today?
Oh my goodness. And you know how much I talk about how I love the sun and I love the heat. So I was loving the weather today. Got out, got some vitamin D in my system, sat out in the sun and enjoyed time with some of my wonderful neighbors. So it was just a wonderful day.
Well, and you can see, ladies and gentlemen, she has that glow of a woman being in the sun. Her hair is done so nicely, as always, but she has that special glow from being out. And hopefully all of you got a chance to get out into the sun as well. So and you can see I still have, these are my nighttime shades. I can't read anything, so I have to take them off. Lest we have the faux pas that we've had on other shows where we've mispronounced names, messed up stats. So, but we thank those of you who tune in and watch us. Great weekend in sports. And Tree, the countdown is coming to the NFL draft. We're just like 48 hours away.
I'm so excited. I don't know if you can tell, but oh my goodness, I have been waiting so long for this NFL draft, and I am so excited to see what the Atlanta Falcons are going to do, what my Detroit Lions are going to do, and what my Minnesota Vikings are going to do. So I will be tuned into the draft, and I will be laughing, cheering, excited, and can't wait for football season to start.
Well, we're going to be talking about all of that tonight and more. And just to get into, what's happening in the NFL draft, what the Falcons may do, all that kind of good stuff. We'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about the Braves. And of course, I know you want to talk about your Atlanta Hawks who continue to make waves in the NBA. Well, guys, I'm going to flash up here. We're basically going to talk about the same stuff we talked about last week. Let's take a look here. You can see here a little bit about the Braves. Bats are definitely heating up there for the Bravos. The Hawks continue impressive play. E-Dub won't be with us tonight, but that's okay. Tree and myself will be talking about our Atlanta Hawks. Also, Georgia Tech, a recap of their spring football Friday game, just a little bit of that. And also looking at the idea, we never talked about this idea about the teams requiring a vaccine as proof. I mean, is that something you guys would be down with the cause on that? And of course, we got to do the Falcons. We won't do the flashback. We will talk a little bit about kind of what's been going with the Falcons. And of course, now we're going to do something different. This week, our featured community spotlight is our own Tree Dolman. And she's going to talk about something that's really near and dear to her heart. And we'll get into that later on in the broadcast as well. So before we get started, we're going to let people know where you can find out about the show and all that kind of good stuff. First of all, welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. And we are broadcasting still from the lockdown living room. Even though everybody's no longer locked down, we still broadcast it from there. And remember, you can follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports 7. Please, man, please, sir, do that. We'd appreciate you following us. And we go ahead and tweet like crazy from time to time. So please do that if you could, please. And more importantly, also please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe and then hit the bell. So bang, you'll get the notifications every time we go on the air, even for special broadcasts. So please follow the instructions that are located on your screen, if you could please. All right, now, Tree, I know you're not necessarily a big baseball fan, but have you heard that the Braves bats kind of woke up over the weekend against the Cubs, and they kind of had a little problem against the Diamondbacks, but definitely bounced back against the Cubs with some big hitting and some players stepping up to the plate.
Yes, I have. And I know you always say that I'm not a big baseball fan. I like baseball. I
Oh,
just do not always watch baseball just because the games are so slow and it can get a little boring sometimes. But I do love baseball.
okay. Okay. So you Braves fans, anybody might be a Braves fan watching, the Queen says she does like baseball. It's
I
just it's
do.
slow. And really, can I tell you, that's really been a big thing that has been a challenge for Major League Baseball is trying to speed the games up. As you know, this year they had a rule change. Doubleheaders now are no longer full 9 inning games. They cut them back to like Little League. They're only 7 inning games.
Yeah, and I think that'll help. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that like it, but honestly, even when I go to the games, I'm really just ordering food, looking around, going in a gift shop. It's just really a slow game. So anything that they can do to speed it up, I think will help. But at the same token, you still don't want them to take away from the game, and you don't want them to take away from the great part of baseball, which makes it so great to all of the fans and all of the players. So I also understand that as well.
Yeah, so no doubt, you definitely want to be in a situation that you retain the integrity of the game, which I think they have. I mean, at the end of the day, um, you know, you still have in the National League, which is kind of weird. You still have no DH, which some people who are old school like me kind of like the idea of having the two leagues having different ways of going about it. One without the DH and one with the DH, because in World Series time, I think that's part of the fun to see how the American League teams are going to kind of handle their business now, having to have the pitcher bat, and the National League teams now having to be able to bring in another thumper, when they're playing against the American League. So to me, I've always found that kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I like that as well.
But like you said, the Braves have really heated up a little bit. Everybody was kind of worried about.
We can't hear you. But since we can't hear you while you're getting your mic together, I will say yes, you said everybody was a little worried, but if you recall, I was not worried. One thing about baseball, they have a very long season. And so when they first started, I was not really concerned that they were losing games because we all know it's not how you start, it's how you finish. As long as you're playing really well and once you get your rhythm, you can win games and finish strong. That's all that matters. You want to put yourself in a great spot. So when it comes time to the end of the season, that's when you want to play hard. It makes no sense for a team to play hard and win all the games in the beginning, but then they start losing towards the middle or the end of the season. So whenever a team is losing in the beginning, I'm never worried. Are you back or no? Okay. So yes, I'm not concerned with the Braves. I think that the Braves will do very well this year, and I plan on seeing them in the finals again, and who knows, possibly playing for the World Series again. I still can't hear you, but I see your lips moving. All right. So that's with the Braves. And not sure how long this is going to be. Should I go on to another topic or not? Okay. So while we're waiting, I will talk about the Hawks because I am really excited about the Atlanta Hawks and what the Atlanta Hawks have been doing. And one thing that I will say shocked me, everybody knows I love all of my Detroit teams. I love my Detroit Pistons. And when I knew that Atlanta was playing in Detroit last night, honestly, I just thought that the Hawks were going to win. We all know how the Hawks have been playing really well. Oh my goodness, they've been playing phenomenal ever since we have the new coach, and they really fight. At the same token, we also have a lot of injuries, and that's another thing that I wanted to talk about was when you look at a lot of these ankle injuries, they're all happening because someone stepped on someone's foot, which is so dangerous. And so I really hope and pray that all of the athletes will have a fast recovery and get those ankles well and get healthy. But I was very surprised that we lost to Detroit. And don't get me wrong, yeah, I love my Detroit Pistons, so I'm happy about it. But I was also expecting the outcome to be reversed. So it was kind of interesting to see, but I loved it because Detroit fought the entire game and they kept playing hard. And they said, hey, if you're going to come in here and win, you're going to have to earn this W. And guess what? Atlanta did not earn the W. The Pistons were playing hard, and oh my goodness, it was such a great game to watch, at least for my behalf. I know a lot of the Atlanta Hawks probably weren't too happy, but again, I love my Detroit Pistons. So it was a really good game, and I really thought Atlanta would pull it out. And don't get me wrong, at this point, I do want to see Atlanta keep winning because I want them to get a high spot that they can clinch for the playoffs, to put them in a better spot for playoffs, so that maybe possibly we can have home court advantage for a couple of the games in the playoffs. But I really think that the Atlanta Hawks are going to surprise a lot of people. The main thing, though, is that we just have to get healthy. We have to get healthy. That is the main concern with these ankle injuries and other injuries. I think that once we can get our whole team healthy, playing hard, a lot of people will be shocked by the Atlanta Hawks, but I will not. I expect them to go far, and I think that we can definitely play with the best of them when we're healthy. And when I say we, I'm referring to the Atlanta Hawks, because I know I also said I'm a Detroit Piston, but I do enjoy watching the Atlanta Hawks, and I watch all of the games. So anybody out there watching the Atlanta Hawks, you come in and tell us what you're thinking about the season. What do you think they will do in the playoffs? How high of a seed do you think they can go? I was really hurt when we dropped out of the 4 spot, but we'll see. We definitely need to stay between 4 and 6. Hopefully we can, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to the Atlanta Hawks. I'm so happy that John Collins is back out there playing. Really can't wait to see Trey get back out there. I love watching him shoot threes from the half court, from the logo. I mean, he to me reminds me of not Steph Curry, but a close young Steph Curry. And speaking of Steph Curry, oh my goodness, how about him having the highest 3-point average for 1 month in the NBA? Congratulations to Steph. 85 threes he has shot in the month of April. Do you think he can get to 100? I do. He still has 2 games left in the month of April where he can shoot 15 3-pointers, which I think is a given. Look how many threes he shoots every game anyway. And then if he does that, 15 more 3-pointers, Steph Curry will have shot 100 3-pointers in 1 month in the NBA. He is honestly my favorite NBA player. A big part of that is because he is a Christian athlete, and it's also because how he acts on the court. He also represents, I know at one point he was part owner, I don't know if he still is, in a clothing brand, Active Faith, which is also a brand that I wear. And their slogan is, "In Jesus' name I play," which I also used to wear their bands and wear their clothes when I play volleyball and play different sports, because everything that I do is because God has blessed me with the talent. And so shout out to Steph Curry. I wish him the best. As I stated, he is my favorite NBA player, and really looking forward and hoping that he can make 100 3-pointers in the month of April. And yay, there is my co-host, Jonathan. Can we hear you now?
Hello.
Yay! Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah. Okay. The good thing is, what I like is, we all had to go in Jesus' name, because I was thinking, man, what on earth? Please, please, Lord, help me with this mic. 'Cause I don't know what happened. The mic just all of a sudden said, "Your brother does not recognize your mic. Thank you." I was like, what? Yeah. So anyway, we're back, thankfully and prayerfully, and we're going to take a little bit of a station break now, so we can all regroup and start fresh. You listen to the Real Talk Sports Show. We broadcast on every portal that's possible. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Technical difficulties is gone. How you like me now? All right, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment.
All of NASCAR's drivers.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net. Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions, or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
Yep, we're back here, guys. It's been a challenging day today. Not exactly quite sure what's going on, but a lot of bugs in the machine. But that's okay. The show must go on, and we appreciate those of you who are bearing with us as we meander our way through the ups and downs of live broadcasting. Yeah, so Steph Curry doing some things, making kind of his own statement. And Tree, there seems to be really, since the protests and since the pandemic, there seems to have been a real quantum shift involved in sports marketing and athletes controlling their brand. Have you noticed that same kind of thing?
Yes and no. Yes.
Yes and no. Okay. All right.
I definitely see what you're saying. I see where it's heading. I know some people are still in contracts, so there's only so much they can do. But yes, I do see what you're saying.
And I guess what I mean by that is that players, I mean, we have the situation obviously with Steph doing what he does. I think also we had a situation where a couple of WNBA players have moved to Gap's new brand. I think it's called Athleta, if I'm not mistaken. Where Gap now as that's probably I'm trying to say it wrong. Help me out. You laughing.
No, it's called Athleta, but the brand is not new. Athleta's been around for quite a while.
I'm not a girl. I never heard of it. I'm sorry. It's just to me, I was like, hey, what's this? This seems new. But evidently, my co-host is correcting me, let me know it's been around. And what do you think about that? The idea that Nike had been a little bit insensitive to, I think, our track star, I want to say, I always mispronounce her name, Felix Allison. I talked about her not being paid because basically said, if you're pregnant, you can't run. And just basically another female athlete coming out and saying that, hey, we don't think Nike is being as user-friendly. So it seems like, and maybe it could be just my perception, that more and more athletes are looking to get more involved, not only with their own brand, but in terms of KD and a couple other guys making a power move to do some investing in some major, not just, venture capital, but basically coming up and partnering to come up with their own brands and esports and other things. So it just seems to me that the athlete today is much more involved in investing, like you said, not just their brand, but in terms of really investing to build brand new brands and partnerships with other people.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I see what you're saying now. And I actually had no clue. I had not heard about the two athletes with Nike and that she was not getting paid, and had not heard any of that with Nike. So definitely will have to do my research on that. But I do also see what you're saying, where a lot of athletes are coming out with their own brands and they are partnering with other brands. And I think the biggest thing for them is that they just want to have more of a say. They want to be more involved when it comes to their brand. And I think that's great.
Yeah, no doubt. And of course, another big, I don't want to say slap for Nike, but certainly, as you mentioned, contracts are expiring. Vanessa Bryant deciding that they're not going to re-up with Nike and now moving into a brand that I guess Kobe had talked about, developing the Mamba brand when he was alive. And now Vanessa Bryant taking the next step, moving away from Nike and now looking to develop a brand under the Bryant family name.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I could see how Kobe was talking about that while he was alive. And I love the fact that Vanessa is carrying on his legacy and she's fulfilling what he wanted done, because I think that is really great. We know that Kobe is still with her and he always will be with her. And you know that he's just smiling down and just looking down and very proud of the work that she is doing to continue the things that he had already put into place or things that he had already discussed. And his brand is already huge. You hear everybody talking about Mamba, what it stands for. The meaning is really great. And so I think that his brand will be very, very successful, and having his own shoe line, and I'm pretty sure there'll be clothes and other things that will come with it. I can definitely see in that being a very successful and very profitable business.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, guys just saying, hey, we wanna be, basically like a good friend of yours, the title of her nonprofit, Beyond the Game. I mean, a lot of these guys are thinking, hey, we want to push the envelope. LeBron James owning portions of, pro soccer teams, pro baseball teams, certainly right here in our backyard. Renee Montgomery, now part owner of the Atlanta Dream. I mean, we just see athletes now moving. Of course, even before her, Grant Hill. I got to tell you something, Tree. Those two, I don't know, like what's in their DNA, but them the hardest working CEOs I've ever seen in my life. I mean, both of them are both part owners of professional teams, but yet they both hold roles as on they're on various committees, they're on various boards, corporate boards, and both of them are still active as broadcasters on television.
They are.
I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, I'm thinking about I'm doing a little bit of work, working full time and doing this. I'm gonna have to step my game up. But those two are everywhere. I mean, and kudos to them, especially in terms of what Renee's doing with kind of bridging that gap between the NBA and the WNBA, which other women have done the same, but really her bringing kind of this new dynamic of being a part owner of a team, player, and commentator on the Hawks.
Yes, and she has an active role with the team as well. So she has an active role with management. So Renee is really just a phenomenal woman. And I'm not surprised, because if you look at her level of play from college to when she was playing in the pros, that takes a different type of athlete, and that's a different type of person. So just like you said with her and Grant Hill, they both played at the highest level and they were very successful at doing that. That takes a lot of hard work. And if you look at it, yeah, they're done playing professionally, but they're still working hard with the different businesses and the things that they're doing for the community and what they're doing for their brand, because it's also a brand that they represent. And so, Renee, I am very, very proud of all of the work that she is doing. And there's so many young girls that get to look up to her. And what a great role model that they get to see when they watch Renee.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. Just kudos to her and all the stuff that she's doing. And kudos to Grant Hill. I mean, just showing that, it just doesn't stop there. And like I said, again, the shift that I'm seeing is athletes getting more involved while they're still actively playing. And that's what I think is kind of the biggest thing that I've noticed here in these last 10 years. And again, as much people, LeBron James is a lightning rod. Either you love him or you hate him. But the bottom line is that when it's all said and done, he's going to be a guy that's going to be looked at as basically a history maker, because he has just broken all types of barriers, whether it be the announcement when he decided to make that move, that power move to say, listen, I'm not going to let a team dictate to me where I sign as a free agency. And not only that, I'm going to shape the team by getting two guys to sign with me, then moving not one, but two more times after that, and declaring I'm going to bring a championship to these cities, and did exactly that. And on top of that, mentoring young players, and on top of that, has multiple business entities, including in entertainment and in sports, while he's still playing.
Yes. And my favorite thing that he has is his Promise School. He started a school called the Promise School. And I don't know if you've ever been to the website or seen it, but I love the promise that the students make. And I love the promise that the staff makes. And I love the school. And they also actually have a place on campus where students can live if they have home situations where they're not able to be successful, or if they're having issues at home, which I think is phenomenal. And so I actually love his school and what he's doing with that, because look at how many lives and how many students' lives and parents' lives that he is impacting. outside of all of the great things that he's doing with his businesses. That to me speaks volumes for him to open a school and what his school stands for and just everything that they encompass. So hats off to LeBron James and big kudos to him for that.
No doubt. Like I said again, he is a trendsetter because now more and more athletes are, really attacking control of their imaging, control of their brand, and not only that, but being true, in fact, businessmen and women. And like I said, putting the emphasis back on this again while they're still playing and breaking the barriers of, before they really were very reluctant to allow athletes to be able to invest in other teams, especially while they were still playing. So, like I said, now to see LeBron owning percentages of, soccer clubs, and I think he owns a percentage of the Red Sox because that team, that investment group owns the Red Sox and owns multiple professional sports teams across different sports. So the fact that he's involved with that, entertainment, producing television programs, movies, and like I said, other guys doing the same thing. This is kind of really, I think, and hopefully will grow, is the type of thing that we've all been looking for, that athletes, especially athletes of color, especially athletes that originally came from communities that were very poor, be willing to take that to the next level and reinvest into not just nonprofit organizations, but schools where they're going to build good citizens, businesses where they're actually going to put people to work. And that that education is going to have generational effects for the good in terms of changing how people look at themselves and how we grow as a community. So yeah, you're right. It's just a phenomenal stuff that's going on right now in athletics, whether you like it or not. I think it's a great thing.
Yes, it is.
Well, we're going to shift gears here just before we go to the break. Looking at our Atlanta Hawks, they are just, they're tearing it up. Even though they lost to your boys in Detroit, games that everybody thought they would not lose, you have to like this Hawk team and what they're bringing to the table. What have you seen again that has really made you feel like this is a team that could do some work in postseason?
It's the fight. I love the fight that I see in the Hawks. It does not matter if they're up. It does not matter if they're down. And we see a lot of times they will be down and then they'll come back and win, but they're fighting. And even when they have players, key players actually, who are out, they're still fighting. So the bench is playing strong. The bench is getting points. The bench is getting rebounds and doing what they can. They're stepping up to the plate. And that's what we need. And so I feel that we can definitely go far in the playoffs. And I really want us to get our key players back. But I'm also loving what I'm seeing from the bench just because they're fighting. And that's the biggest thing. Never give up. You do not stop playing until the clock is at 0. And they are not giving up and they're not stopping.
Yeah, and they're definitely going to be sorely tested now. Another spate of injuries hit them again. Red Velvet, Kevin Huter went down with an injury. Shoulder injury. He's going to be out. And of course, Trae Young still coming back, trying to come back from his sprained ankle. Just like it seems like every time he turns around. And his backup, Godwin, he got knocked out of last night's game. So this team is like a walking ambulance ward. And it's really going to be interesting if they can somehow recover in time before the playoffs start in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I hope so. But honestly, looking at these ankle sprains, oh my goodness, I cringe every time I think about it, and I was cringing when I was watching it just because that is a very painful ankle sprain when you step on someone's foot and it causes your ankle. And I've experienced that with my volleyball career because as a middle blocker, when I'm jumping and someone lands on my side of the net and then I come down on their foot, I sprain my ankle plenty of times. And so I think that's why I cringe so much, is because I think back to that pain and just how it felt. And so it's just really, really painful to see. And there's been so many injuries this year in the NBA. And regardless of what anyone says, you cannot tell me that it is not because of the break that they did not take. I understand that the NBA wanted to get back on schedule with COVID and get everything going back to how it normally is. But you're seeing the effects of that from the players because there's been so many injuries. Their bodies also need rest. And so that's why I also want people to also be lenient with these players. You know, a lot of the fans and everybody, they're so hard on the players. Oh, he's in the NBA. He's getting paid for this and this and that. Yes, but they're still human beings. They still are going through COVID as well. They still have families. Their bodies still need rest. Look at how many games they're playing in 1 week, a month. It's a lot on their bodies. And so I will be so happy. Don't get me wrong. I don't want this season to end because I love seeing basketball every day.
Right.
But I want the players to get rest. And I think that we will see, once they get the rest that they need, I don't think that we'll see as many injuries next year as we have seen this year.
Yeah, no doubt. And anytime you talk also about the fact that you can't practice as you normally do, you can't go through the same training regimens and preparations you normally do, all that kind of stuff has affected the type of play that we've seen. And that's what's caused injury, because really, if you look at this Hawks team right now, this is a team now, you know, people would listen to you and I and say, these guys are talking crazy. We're talking about this team could contend for a championship. But the games that we saw against Miami, and especially the next game after that against the Milwaukee Bucks, that sent the NBA a clear signal that this Hawk team, as it's currently configured, has a team that can be a threat to make a deep run into the playoffs.
Oh, definitely. Hey, what do they say in football? Any given Sunday, right? Any team can win.
No doubt.
On any given Sunday. So in the NBA, we're going to say any given day, because when you come to play and you're feeling it, it doesn't matter who you're playing. When you're playing great defense and you're feeling the shots and you're making the shots, any given day, you can win.
There's no question. Let's go to social media. H.C. Hardy talking about the fact that it's amazing to see how similar the Hawks are. Or, excuse me, amazing to say how, some of the Hawks are playing after Nate McMillan was with the Supersonics. Right. So, of course, that was with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. But what he's basically saying is that this team is playing with an energy. And that's really the difference. You talk about that all the time. The idea that this team is confident. That's one thing that hopefully I'll be able to get this clip of Coach Nate McMillan talking about that before we get off the air. But he talks about the fact that this is a confident team. Bogdanovich came on his post conference and said the same thing. This is a team that is confident of their abilities. And when you are confident, as you know, that makes all the difference in the world in terms of your being able to perform at the highest level. And our man, affiliate man, in his official name, Todd, on YouTube says, "Tree, you so right."
Thank you.
Yeah, he don't say nothing about me being right. That's all right. It's all love. Well, speaking of love, we're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to show the love to our community outreach and community spotlight, our own Miss Tree Doman. Keep it locked right here for more of the Real Talk Sports Show, as we'll be back in just a moment. Please don't go anywhere, because then you'll miss out. I'm just saying. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
All right, and we're back. Thank you for tuning into the Real Talk Sports Show. Big shout out to those of you watching on the replay on Periscope. Appreciate those of you watching on demand on YouTube, and of course those of you watching live on Facebook. And mad shout outs to those of you watching us on Roku TV, baby, on the Phoenix Entertainment Channel and on the C Room Sports Entertainment Network. Well, guys, when we always try to bring you the best of the best here. And before we start our community outreach, we have a gentleman that is going to be joining us, as he always does each and every week. Not one, not two, not one, but two Super Bowl championships under his belt, 14 years in the NFL, and a number one first-round draft pick. back in the day from Fort Valley State. He's also a motivational speaker, and he's just a darn good guy. Tyrone Pogue is in the building. What's going on, sir?
Hello, hello. How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? How you doing, Miss Tree? How you
Doing
doing?
good.
Doing good. How you doing, Minister? You doing good?
I'm doing good, sir. You know, I noticed something when everybody comes on the show, and I know it's ladies first, but everybody greets the queen. I'm like the guy. Oh well, we'll get to him when we get to him. So, but who wouldn't listen? Who wouldn't greet one of the most dazzling women on TV, the Queen Tree Dolman? I do the same. So
You're too kind.
Well, speaking of that, Tyrone, one of the things that we like to do, obviously, is support the community. And this week is no different. But this time, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to support our own. As Tree comes to us and talks a little bit about an organization that she's been involved with on the ground floor and some of the things that are going on. And before we do that, Mr. Poole, you got a big shout out from former affiliate man on Periscope, Todd from YouTube said, "What's up, Mr. Poole?"
Man, all is well. All is well. Like I always tell people, I'm just trying to keep one foot in front of the other and fall forward. So,
amen.
Everything's good.
Well, listen, I'll tell you something. I believe that somewhere back behind them trophies back there, there's a secret stash of Poolisms back there, like little anecdotes that he got them on file. And one of these I'm gonna go and visit them and say, yeah, I'm gonna get them right here so I can have those. But anyway, yeah, we appreciate it, man. But I don't know how you get it, but you always got just the right example every single time. But speaking of a great example, Tree Dolman, a woman that has matriculated, done extremely well on the field of sports, but also has given a lot of her time to nonprofit organizations. But this one has a little special meaning to her. So, Tree Dolman, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I would like everyone to know about one of the organizations that I work with very closely. I partner with them. For those who may or may not know, my husband passed away from brain cancer. Specifically, glioblastoma was the type of brain tumor that he had. And while he was still alive, he and I fought so that we could find a cure. And we were hoping that we would find a cure while he was alive. Unfortunately, that did not happen. But now that my husband is resting peacefully in heaven, I am continuing our fight. And there's a lot that we need to do when it comes to brain tumor and brain cancer, because there are not a lot of funds out there for brain cancer. You also do not see a lot of awareness for brain cancer. And that's what I'm trying to change. And so I partner with the National Brain Tumor Society. Their website is braintumor.org. And there's just so many resources that they have for patients, caregivers, and anybody in the brain tumor community, whether your brain tumor is cancerous or non-cancerous. And May is actually Brain Tumor and Brain Cancer Awareness Month. So for the month of May, our slogan and our tag is Go Gray in May, even though I go gray every day of my life. So people may or may not notice, but even when my husband was alive, I wear my gray band on my Fitbit. And then I also wear these bracelets that I made, which I'll talk about these in a moment, to also represent the gray. So every day of my life, I'm wearing gray in memory and in honor of my husband. And so I just really want to talk about May. I want people to go gray in May. And I'm going to let you know about a couple of ways that you can do that. So I've created these bracelets where you can see it has the gray ribbon on there. So these are handmade by me. These are actual stone bracelets. And I'm going to start a fundraiser in the beginning of May. All of the proceeds, every penny, is going to brain cancer research so that we can find a cure. Every penny. None of it is going anywhere but to brain cancer research. Every single penny. So these are the ones that I created with the hanging tag. I also have the lava beads, where these also have the gray ribbon on the side. And then I have the dark gray. So I created these for the men because I know the men don't want to wear a feminine bracelet. So you'll see the dark gray where they have the gray ribbon on each side. And then this is the regular gray. So all of these you will be able to purchase. There will also be t-shirts that you'll be able to purchase, which when I get those in, I'll show you. But again, every single penny is going to brain cancer research, every penny. And I have also started a nonprofit that I will give you that information next week because I was hoping to have the website live, but also I do 2 nonprofits and I had some calls about the other one. But the goal is for that website to go live May 1st. So next week, I will tell you where you can purchase all of these items. But again, every single penny is going to brain cancer research because that's what we need. The life expectancy for someone with glioblastoma and brain cancer, the 5-year rate is so low. It's so low. And there were about 85,000 people that would get diagnosed this year. There are already over 700,000 people living with a brain tumor already. So we really have to bring awareness, and it takes a lot of money to do the research. But one thing that I can say, from 2019, the percentage was, I believe, 5.6, and now it's at 7.2. So there has been a gradual increase where you're seeing the longevity of life, but it's still a terminal cancer, and we have to end that. We have to. And then also, I'm going to put together a virtual 5K run where, again, every penny of the proceeds is going to brain cancer research. So I definitely wanted to let you guys be aware of that and to look out for that in May, because you will see me wearing gray in May. And then if you want to join me every Friday, wear gray and tag me in it, go gray for May. And I'll post you on my video, but just also just to support. So I thank you.
Well, we look forward to it. I know, yeah, definitely big kudos, big ups, big shout out to you. Just great stuff that you're doing in the community. Tyrone, I know you obviously do some stuff yourself, and we'll let you come on and talk about what you're doing. But how did it make you feel, man, to hear some of the things our own Tree is doing there, especially with something that's so close to her? I mean, this is not like an outsider. This struck her family and struck hard.
Yeah, the most important thing, like you said, is the passion. When you do something that is near and dear to your heart, the passion, because there are going to be times when you have to go out there on your own and you have to push it. You have to push it. And then once it gets rolling, then everybody, jumps on board. But, anytime you're doing anything to help human beings, help people be better, whether it's speaking or brain research or whatever type of foundation to help people be better. No, we can't correct the past, but we can do something about the present, and we definitely can do something about the future. So my hat goes off to Miss Tree and everybody else out there who, you're doing something that we may not know about, but I'm pretty sure, I would probably speak highly in words of Jonathan. Hey, let us know. Send it in and let us know what you're doing out there in the community, not only in Georgia, but around the country, around the world, because it takes a village, as they say, to change one person, 100 people. So again, it's beautiful when you hear people giving back and helping others to be well. So my hat's off to you, Miss Tree. Great job.
Thank you.
No doubt. So now, Tree, you mentioned that there are some items that can be purchased. Do you have like a PayPal set up yet, or a Cash App that we can, get the money so we can get some of those goods?
Well, that is what is going to be posted next week because there's a website. So all of the purchases can be made on the website. And as long as you make the purchase by noon or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then your order will get shipped out the same day. And we're just ready to get them out there. And so that information I'll have next week, the website that you can go to and make all of the purchases.
Perfect. I love it. I'm gonna be the first person to buy something. You did have some, I think, blue and gray for the fellas, so we can go ahead and rock that. I haven't had a bracelet or jewelry on for a minute since watches kind of done going out of style, so I can't really do that. But yeah, I can rock that. We definitely want to support what you're doing. I just want to go on record as saying, it's a very difficult thing when you are involved in an organization that impacted your family directly. So again, kudos to you because I know we've talked offline about this, how many people have come to you for words of encouragement. And, let's face it, it brings back your own memories and the struggles and the pain that you went through and the loss that you still are dealing with. But yet you are willing to make yourself that vulnerable and endure that kind of pain to be a help to someone else because you've seen and tell us a little bit about some of the testimony of people who you've been able to not only give them words of encouragement, but send them to the right places to get help.
Yeah, well, anytime I hear about someone going through a brain tumor or brain cancer, I always talk to them just about the different treatment options, different techniques of what you can do when they're having their surgery. I also join with the National Brain Tumor Society, and they have brain tumor conversations. And they're very difficult for me. I'm always holding back tears because it does remind me of what I went through with my husband. But I definitely want to help someone else. I wish that someone had told me the things that I tell other people. So anything that I can do to help others. And that's what my husband and that's what we were doing when he was still with us. We would go and visit hospitals and talk to patients and talk to their caregivers. We just wanted to help. And that's one thing that I loved about my husband so much was just, he never questioned why he got it, but he just felt that God gave him that so that he could be a blessing to other people. And that just speaks volumes of just who my husband was and the great man that he was. He just always wanted to help people through it. And so did I. And so I always am talking to people. I send a lot of people to the National Brain Tumor Society. Again, their website is braintumor.org. They have so many different things for patients and caregivers. And they also invest so much money into research. And that is actually where all of the funds will get donated. So all of the donations from the sales of the bracelets and the t-shirts and the 5K walk, the virtual 5K walk, they are all getting donated to the National Brain Tumor Society specifically for cancer research, for brain cancer research. So anytime that I can help anyone, I'm always telling them about the great doctors and hospitals. Emory University, they have an actual neuro ICU. So whenever someone has issues, I always say, you really need to go to Emory University if possible, so that you can get the proper testing and also get the proper care, because every hospital doesn't have a neuro ICU. So how can they really give you the best treatment if you have something going on neurologically?
No doubt. Again, we appreciate you, being making yourself so vulnerable and so available for people who are going through great difficulties, man, and all that stuff. It's just very, very powerful. So again, our hats off to you. And like Mr. Poole said, our prayers are with you as well. Because like I say again, that's grown people work there. So everybody likes to be in the Air Force, but that's infantry work. Nobody likes to be on the ground floor. Nobody likes to feel that pain. I kind of just say a couple of prayers and keep it moving. But the fact that you've been willing to give of yourself in that way, it's just great stuff. Well, again, I'm gonna put it up on here. I think you told me it's braintumor.org. Let me see if I got it right here.
Yes, braintumor.org.
There it is, guys. You can see it. And so please, again, stay tuned next week, and Tree will have information on how you can be involved, and that's it. Well, listen, guys, we're going to take a little mini quick break because now it's time to talk about a little football because the NFL draft is coming up, and Mr. Poole is chomping at the bit to kind of let you know what he thinks about the draft. And our man, affiliate man, is saying, hey, let's talk some football, baby. So we're going to do that. Keep it locked right here for more of the Real Talk Sports Show, and we'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere, please. If you say you like us, just hang tight. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Nothing better than the sound of diesel in the morning. And what better place to get high horsepower diesel than the all-new 2024 F-250, now with 475 horsepower and over 1,000 foot-pound of torque. You know where to get it? From me, the minister, Jonathan Simmons at Allen Visual Ford Commercial Sales. Because you know why? I'm the commercial truck guy in the shirt and tie.
And we're back. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show, and we are here, as we always do here, giving you something a little different. As we do, our show is committed to not only bring you sports, but also the good things that are going on in the community as well. And I want to treat Dawn again talking about something near and dear to her and her heart. And we're excited about that and excited about what she's doing. And remember now, stay tuned next week as we let you know about what's going on, how you guys can be a part of it yourself. We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping here. Brother Pull, I'm going to ask you if you might be able to turn down maybe your mic just a little bit because somebody's getting a little bit of echo from you. So you might have to turn it down just a little pinch, I think. All right, hopefully that will do it. Well, the show must go on, as we always say. All right, so there's rumblings and rumors, guys, that Julio Jones, now I love how they do this. The Falcons are entertaining calls about trades for Julio Jones. All right, Tyrone, how seriously can we take this? And are we doing really much ado about nothing?
No, I think anytime the NFL draft comes up, there's a lot of things that happen. There are things that we don't know about as fans. So anything is live game. I even remember when I came out. I got drafted by Carolina, but I never talked to Carolina. I never saw them at the combine, never interviewed with Carolina. They didn't come to my pro day at Fort Valley, and still yet, Carolina traded up 10 spots to pick me in the draft. So, you never know what's going to happen, especially after the first, I think, 5 picks. After the first 5 picks, I think it's up in the air. So Julio could be a bait. I heard that they're the Patriots. One of my teams was looking at him, and I would love to see Julio go to New England. And I think Belichick is a great coach when it comes to finding players and motivating them to get a little bit more tread off of their tires. So I think Cam is going to have a great year, better than the year before because he has a full season. And then you bring in a player like Julio Jones, along with the wide receiver that they got from Oakland and the 2 tight ends. I think they may be building something up there. But yeah, Julio, anybody's on the trading block, but Julio is the big name right now that everybody's hearing.
Well, no doubt. And we'll go to social media here. Our good friend, we call him the offense coordinator, Mr. Hardy, did want to give a big shout out to Tree, saying thank you for your courage, your heart, and your testimony, and truly a great inspiration for all of us. So, Coach Hardy, I think you hit it and spoke for all of us on that. So,
Thank you.
And Tyrone, I think you answered a little bit of it of Todd's question. He wanted to know did you think the Patriots would get back to the playoffs, and you answered that. You feel that Cam having a whole season under his belt is going to be a different player, and they're going to be a different team.
Yeah, I do. I think we're going to see a different, just all 32 teams. You look at what Cleveland Browns are doing up there in Cleveland. I think they are saying basically we are the team to beat not Pittsburgh. So, of course, they know they got to knock Pittsburgh and Baltimore off. And I think Cleveland showed signs that they are trying to turn the corner. So I think we're going to see a lot of teams. Carolina, they're trying to do some things. They get McCaffrey back. He's that go-go juice, as they would say with Austin Powers. He's that mojo for the Panthers offense. So they get him back, and they got a new quarterback the quarterback that they like. So I think the NFC South is going to be do very well. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, no doubt. It is going to be a wild time on Thursday night. There is some thought that we might, in fact, try to do a pop-up show. My schedule a little compressed. I don't know. I might just end up watching like everybody else, but certainly, I know all the restaurants are happy that COVID is going away because everybody's got watch parties for the NFL draft scheduled everywhere. I mean, your local sports bar near you, they don't care about no social distancing. They don't care if you got your shot. They say, come on and get a shot. And while you watch the Falcons, right, and pony up to the bar. We're going back to social media again. Our main man here, Todd asked an interesting question. He says here, who does Tyrone think might be the next Tyrone Poole in this NFL draft? Somebody that might surprise us all.
You never can tell. But everybody always have someone that when I say have someone, NFL scouts always try to compare someone to someone to kind of give people an idea of the talent that this guy could have. Of course, when I came out, I was compared to Darryl Green. I think it might have been because of the height, but when I actually saw Darryl in person, I was a little bit taller than Darryl and a little bit bigger than Darryl. But again, I don't know who that person will be. I just hope that somebody from an HBCU has an opportunity. There's a cornerback with North Carolina A&T that is supposed to be real good. So I just hope that some HBCU athlete gets an opportunity to continue to keep the torch burning, that there are quality athletes in the HBCU arena. So they just need an opportunity. So, but we'll find out come next Monday who has been selected.
No doubt. So also affiliate man, aka Todd, is saying that Cam was doing great last year, but of course he got the COVID. It seemed like after that they kept talking about him being a COVID fog. He didn't seem to really be on top of his game. Our good friend, the offense coordinator, Mr. Hardy, is saying Julio and Cam are great friends, and if Cam is really ready, along with Julio as well, those two guys would be keys because they were out last year. And certainly they would be a team that would be a threat in the AFC. If all of a sudden you can match up Cam Newton with Julio Jones, that would be I know I wouldn't want to play against that team. That would be a nasty, nasty situation up in New England. So we're going to see. Well, the other thing that we're hearing is that the Falcons, and Trey, I know you're about defense, but the rumor still goes back to the Falcons. If Justin Fields is not there, taking Kyle Pitts, the AKA unicorn from out of Florida. Think that's a good pick, or should they go with the big lineman out of Oregon, Mr. Penei Sewell?
I'm going to say that I think that's a good pick. I've been seeing different film, and I think he's definitely a great fit here. So if Fields is not available, I do think that he's a good pick. And so hopefully going number 4 in the draft, I expect to see if he does come here. I expect to see at least 6 Pro Bowls, and I expect to see him making great plays and continue what he's doing. Let's be honest. He is a great player. So I think he has a ton of potential, and I think he would be a good fit with the Falcons. So I think it would be a good pick.
Yeah, so everybody's saying that he is, in fact, if you had to narrow it down just by talent, a lot of people think that he probably is actually the best athlete and the most talented player in the draft at any position. Being 6'6", allegedly did not drop a single pass last year. So at 6'6", I think he comes in around 250 and runs about a 4.6 40, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a guy that certainly can be a game changer. And a lot of people think that if you team this guy up with Calvin Ridley, who seems to get better every year, the veteran Julio Jones, which has been, I think, key his mentorship to Ridley being who he is, those guys together would make Atlanta once again like they won the Super Bowl year, one of the best offenses in the league. So certainly a lot of people are talking about that. And here's the thing. Panay Sewell, as much as people were very hot on him, it's kind of slowed down a little bit. Now a lot of people are talking about the big lineman out of Northwestern now being maybe the better lineman opportunity because they think that in his case, he could switch to the guard position and still be a potential all-pro, where Panay really has to be pretty much a left tackle. And the Falcons, they have a left tackle.
I'm gonna add this in. I know, we're talking about Kyle Pitts and the offense, but really that fourth pick, I think the Falcons again should trade out of it and actually get some picks and then drop down, stay in the first round, but drop down. And I think they should go defense. After thinking about it, I think they should go defense. I think they should get the linebacker from Penn State, Michael Parsons, and actually put him with Deion Jones. Because again, when you look at the Falcons from the previous year, I'm like they ranked number 32 in passing, and you're playing in the NFC South where you got the Saints, you got the Bucks. They're gonna throw the ball. So I don't care what type of offense you got. If your offense cannot get on the field to score, then you're gonna just have talent sitting on the sideline. So I think they should trade out of the number 4th spot, get some draft picks, move back, stay in the first round, and stay close enough where they can pick up Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State, and actually shore up that defense. Because again, the defensive coordinator Dean Pease, you win. I believe you still win championship with defense. You got to slow them down. At least get the ball 2 or 3 times more for your offense than the opponent's offense. And that's how you win in the NFL with today's new rules, which basically allows the offense just to pass the ball anywhere they want to. So that's why you have all these pinball scores, 42 to 35, 50 to 47. I'm like, if you're going to win the Super Bowl, your championship team, you got to at least stop the opposing offense at least 2 or 3 times during the game to get a ball back to your deadly offense so you can end up having the ball last. So I think they should trade out of it and pick up the linebacker, Michael Parsons, to shore up that defense a little bit.
But no doubt, you put him with Jones and Deion Jones and the young man out of Yale, of all places, Koolaway, that came in and really has been an outstanding side-to-side, sure tackling linebacker. They could have something there. Let's go back to social media here. Our offense coordinator, Mr. Hardy, says, what do you think about Asante Samuel being a diamond in the rough? I don't know how much of a diamond in the rough, brother. He's one of the top 6 or 7 cornerbacks rated in the 2020 mock draft. The other thing, too, is we're going to go once again to Affiliate Man, a.k.a. Todd. He says he saw an interview with Pitts, and he said he talks about himself in the third person. He said that makes him a little scary. So, listen, I know for me, the thing that, and again, it's not being an old school thing, because there have been people like, Deion Sanders, Muhammad Ali, people who have been the best of the best and talked a lot of junk, but they backed it up. But for me, and you can correct me about this, Tyrone, it seems that to me, that's the exception to the rule. Most guys actually do a lot of talking off the field like that, like in interviews. I'm going to do this. He talked about, I'm going to be one of the greatest NFL tight ends ever. Those guys, to me, I don't think pan out that much. I'd rather have a guy come in here and say, look, man, I'm here to try to work hard, to be a good teammate, and do what I got to do, and do all his talking by laying the wood or making the plays on the field.
Yeah, what that is, that's social media. That's social media, and whoever is talking to him, they're telling him the wrong things. And, sometimes people grow up and they go against competition that they are the most dominant. Like my daughter, for example, would be a great example. My daughter, I've been training her in sports ever since she was in the 3rd grade. So when she started running track and field, got in high school, she would do summer track and high school track season. So she would beat the girls over in East Cobb. She would do very well. So I told her, don't let people tell you how great you are, because usually you're not as great as they say you are. And of course, you're not as bad as they say you are. But if you really, 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 really want to see how good you are, go to the west side of Atlanta and run against them girls over there. If you could beat those girls over there, not saying that they are the very best, but those girls are hungry. And if you can beat them, then maybe you can add a few more words to how good you are. But until then, don't say nothing until you go up against the competition that you face. So I think sometimes social media allow these players to say things and people telling them to say this, because that's what people want to hear. And then when they get into the NFL, they become one of the top 10 busts of all time. So they just don't understand. You got defensive ends, offensive tackles that can run 4.5. All right. In college, you might have been the fastest person. But when you get into the pros, it's 11 of the best guys that can put that helmet and uniform on. So keep your mouth closed until you get about 3 or 4 years into the NFL. Then at least you can open up and say a couple of words.
I love it. And that is so true. You're speaking from college, where in college you were one of the best, because we know 1% or less than 1% of college athletes actually go to the pros. And so you have no clue what's in store for you. If you want to be confident, you have to be confident, because it's something, as I always say, whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. But keep it to yourself. So for him to go out and speaking all of this and getting his name out there and all this, none of the speaking matters. What does not lie are the numbers. So what are you going to do when you get to the team? Are you going to produce? Are you going to be able to go against the best of the best and still produce? Because that's what's going to speak volumes, not what he's saying. And then if he doesn't pan out, then he's going to be remembered for all of the wrong reasons that will follow him for the rest of his life.
And now I want to share something else, if I may. When I came out in the draft, little draft story here. I still got the article with ESPN, but when I came out, of course, I got drafted by the Carolina Panthers. So at the time, the 49ers, the Falcons, the Saints, the Rams, we all in the same division. That let you know how long ago it was. But they asked me a question when I got drafted by Carolina. You get drafted, man, you automatically get on the phone with the media there. So I'm talking to the Carolina media, and one of the questions they asked me was, okay, you face Jerry Rice twice a year, 2 times. What are you going to do to him? Or basically, what are you going to do? Do you fear him? Are you scared of him? Now, you got to be very, very cautious. Now, like Tree said, I got to show my confidence now, but I can't be too confident. I don't like to use the word cocky, because to me, cockiness, when people say somebody is so cocky, to me, the person who says that person is cocky, the person who says, use the word cocky, to me, says that they have low self-esteem. But a person who is confident in themselves, that's a difference between confident and being too overly confident. Think highly of yourself, but not too high. So when they asked me about Jerry Rice, this is what I told them. I said, you know what? I respect Jerry for everything that he has accomplished. So right there, I'm giving him his dues. I'm not saying, oh man, Jerry, who is Jerry? No, I respect Jerry. But at the same time, I do not fear Jerry. He put his pants on the same way I do. So again, I answered it with respect to Jerry Rice. But at the same time, I'm saying, hey, I'm not scared to go against this guy. So you got to know how to answer the question. You just can't come out and make it look like, hey, you know what? I'm the best thing since peanut butter and jelly. So you can't do that. You're setting yourself up.
Can I say something with what Tyrone said? That reminded me of something, and I don't speak on this often, but when you just said that, I love that you paid respect to Jerry Rice. So I must tell you about something that bothered me that Julius Peppers did. So my husband's record for the all-time sack leader, he was 4th on the list since he had retired from the NFL with 150 and a half sacks. And Julius Peppers was close to passing him. And so I said, oh, I hope he doesn't pass your record. You're 4th all time. And he said, well, records are made to be broken. And so he said, when he breaks my record, I'm going to call him and congratulate him. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. That does make sense. Well, then when we're coming back from out of town and I see it on the social media and I'm like, oh, Julius Peppers passed you. And he was going to call him and congratulate him when we got back to Atlanta. And then I saw the interview where one of the reporters asked him, yeah, you just passed Chris Dolman for the all-time sack leader. Now you're fourth on the list. And how do you know? And he was just like whatever, like it's no big deal. And when I saw that, it bothered me. And of course, my husband saw it, and apparently it must have bothered him too, because after he saw that, he did not call to congratulate him. And I was just thinking, how disrespectful. So for somebody to be fourth all-time sack leader in the history of the NFL, I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. But when Julius Peppers passed him, it was just like, it was like shrug, like nothing, like, yeah, it's just like I went and got some tea today. You know, it was just like, so I love how you spoke about respect. I think that it's so important for the current and the younger athletes to pay respect. Even for myself, when I see former volleyball players or former basketball players, I still pay respect to them because they're the ones who paved the way for me. And I'm the one that paved the way for the younger ones. And so I think respect is a key word that any young athlete, if you're watching, just make sure you always respect those who came before you. And if you ever do pass their records, which is true, records are meant to be broken. But when you hold and set a record, that is a big deal and you pay respect. So I love when I see in the NBA, I can't remember who it was when they passed Kobe's record and they had, put his name and number on their shoe and pay respect. And that's the way things should happen. So that just reminded me of that when Tyrone said that.
Yeah. Well, then you got this. We can go all day on this one here. Do we remember when, I'm pretty sure all those that are listening and watching, when Cam Newton had his camp and that young kid, that's a lack of respect right there. I'm like, so again, the youth, they're like out of control. And maybe we just need to do a segment where we're talking about respect. And, so there is homage that you have to pay to those who came before you and those who are doing something that you're not even doing yet. So I'm like, it's respect. So I agree 100%.
So you got to put some respect on it. Speaking of respect, we want to respect those people who are commenting here on social media. Going back here to offense coordinator, Mr. Hardy, he talks about Kyle Pitts really being a wide receiver before he had a growth spurt and converted to tight end. So if the Falcons let Julio go, this is an easy way to use him, both as a hybrid in both positions that will create matchup nightmares, I'm sure. And then let's go here to our good buddy, Mr. Todd, a.k.a. Affiliate Man. He said Jerry Rice after Super Bowl, the next day, Jerry Rice was back at the 49er complex, nobody there, Jerry out back, catching passes. That's Jerry, and that's how legend operates. So, again, it's a different situation. Respect is very, very important. I think people should always pay that, man. I mean, you got to give people their props, man. I mean, even the Bible says, give respect to whom respect is due. It didn't ask you if you liked them, didn't ask you if you thought that they were worth it. If, in fact, they accomplished something great, they are worthy of honor, then give them honor. I'm just saying, throwing it out there. It's not a matter of being old school or whatever you want to call it. It's just a matter of, people doing what they need to do. I'm going to do one last comment here. Actually, you know what? We're going to take a quick little snippet here, a little 30-second break. We'll go back to social media. And I believe I see someone we know has just entered the green room. Well, you won't know who that is. I guess you keep it locked right here. For more of the Real Talk Sports Show, we'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
Guys and gals, if you have a business and you'd like to get some promotion done, we certainly can put stuff together to you. We have a video team, audio team, that can really put your best foot forward with advertising. Give us a call, 678-304-8121, and we would love to have you there. All right, guys, we got 15 minutes left, but we could not end the broadcast unless we talk to the man himself who's been on, his ears been to the floor, and he's getting ready and prepared to be somewhere near the war room at the Falcons Get Ready. You know what it is? The embedded speech writer, beat writer for AJC Sports. He's also Esquire par excellence, the guy that knows more about the Falcons than anybody. We're about to have him join us in just a second. He has to kind of get everything set with his mic. I see him there. D. Orlando Ledbetter, sir, thank you for joining us as you get ready for the big night on Thursday.
Yes, thank you. Just getting set up here. Appreciate you all having me on the show. So we can get right to it.
Get right to it. Yes, sir. All right, so I think everybody wants to know. Go to social media real quickly here. Everybody's talking about here. Tree call the Lions. Give them this scenario: San Francisco third, and Garoppolo for Detroit, Goff and Swift. Then send Garoppolo back to the Patriots for Cam Newton, a second round and 14th pick, which would put Detroit in the mix for Justin Fields or Kyle Pitts and get a running back. Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know, brother. That's a lot of convoluted going back and forth. And Bobby D. Blasting Game says, good evening to everyone. I do let, there's been rumors about Julio. First of all, talk to us a little bit about that. How serious are the Falcons listening to, offers for Julio?
Not very serious. That media dropped the team. Had the general manager basically say, "Hey, we've been answering our phone." Well, I hope you've been answering your phone. Who's been calling? What? It's a bunch of nothing to me unless they're going to actually trade Julio, which they're not going to do. And they got a salary cap problem, which we already knew. I don't know. It's kind of like a joke. The team, trying to get their name out there, get on first take, and so forth and so on. There's no way you trade your best players, especially when you're trying to, win or at least be competitive. So it was good talking point for radio and for their Channel 5, which is their flagship station. They are obligated to go on there. So they said something, and, it was blown into some news, or some alleged news. So till we hear from Julio and his people, don't put too much stock in all that.
Yeah, they even corralled your boy Steve Weiss to kind of get him to kind of get that in the morning show. And of course, our man, affiliate man Todd is taking that D-Led. I told you, brother, last week, Julio's getting traded, LOL. But yeah, man, it's just, I think it's a lot of smoke screen right now. I guess the big question is, and this is what Tyrone keeps asking, a lot of people asking, do you think the Falcons will legitimately trade back out of that fourth pick to try to accumulate more draft capital, put themselves in position maybe to bolster the defense? Or are they going to stay at 4 and grab whoever is, quote unquote, the best athlete available?
They missed their chance to trade out. San Francisco made it too rich for anybody else to come up. The only suitors for them are Denver at 9, New England at 15, then you get into Chicago and Pittsburgh. And they're not giving up that much capital to come up. The Falcons should have took the San Francisco deal when they called. They didn't do it. So now they're trying to create smoke screens to make people think they want a certain player so that they can, get the pot. I think they're stuck at 4.
Yeah, so if they stay at 4, are they going to go with Kyle Pitts, who seems to be a very talented young man? Maybe, as Tyrone said, needs to grow up a little bit. Maybe he's just got a big mouth. I'm not sure. Maybe it could be just a social media thing. Or are they going to go with, like you like to say, build from the inside out and pick up a lineman like Penei Sewell?
No, I've been my mock draft was Justin Fields, and I've been calling around the league today to try to get on the train, but even Kyle Pitts said that 4 quarterbacks are going first. So the information that's floating around the league right now, not taking a quarterback, And I got it being Fields, who's the second best quarterback in the draft. Although there are some people that believe that Trey Lance is the guy that Terry Fonten don't like. So I'm sticking with my draft, my mock draft right now. I just got off the other phone here with the mock draft we're holding for Therese Taylor, the former Kansas City writer who passed away during COVID.
Oh,
And,
sorry about that.
and so, yeah, in that draft, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, Justin with Mac Jones at 3, and Zach, and then Trevor to start it off. So I'm sticking there. I've been trying to get off of Justin Fields and onto the tackle, and if do that certainly makes sense to me.
But the other thing too that keeps popping up here is this idea. I mean, maybe it's me. I'm slow, but the 49ers, do they really believe that Mac Jones is the guy that you would spend all that draft capital to go to number 3, Mac Jones? I mean, what am I missing?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what one of my former GMs told me. He's like, they didn't trade all those picks to go up and get a developmental quarterback. So that told me they weren't going to get Lance and that it was Justin Fields. But everybody we talked to, Cal Shanahan, you got to remember Shanahan don't like athletic quarterback. He didn't want RG3. The owner got off the pick, and they double back and pick in the 4th round. You look at the quarterback he's been with, that he's been able to produce. He thinks he can do it with. He had Bobby Hoyer looking pretty good in Cleveland there, throwing the ball. Big Josh, who led the league in receiving. Then he had Matt Ryan and the Falcons with the 7th greatest offense of all time. So if you could run his offense, you don't have to be the greatest athlete in the world. You got to be a great processor of information. And Mac Jones showed he can do that at Alabama, according to a lot of people in the know here.
Well, here's a question again back from social media. Our offense coordinator, Mr. Hardy, asking, could Deion Jones, who signed a 4-year, $57 million contract, $11 million signing bonus, be a possibility of seeing what they can get, considering he now has an average annual salary of $14.2 million?
Man, I'm not counting that money. Whatever he got, he earned it. I'm not one of those writers that count the players' money. Nobody's counting how much the owners are making. I remember parking used to be $5. It's $40 now. So go count the owner's money. If Deion, whatever he got, he can keep it, and hope he gets more.
Well, I know, Tree, you must have some questions there for D. Led, and then I'll hit you, Mr. Poole, because I know you got some questions or probably some pushback even maybe about D. Led. Go ahead, Tree, you first.
Well, hello, D-Led. It's always great seeing you. I I love that you came and you shut down the rumors about Julio Jones, because we know what you said last week where you said it's not happening, not even close. And that's all you've been seeing on the news is how it's possibly going to happen, and they're taking calls and they're listening to ideals for trades. And you just came and shut it down again. So I love that. And you still say that they're going with quarterback and then Pitts. Is that the order that you're thinking that the Falcons are going to draft?
No, it's quarterback or Pitts is a smokescreen, and Pitts even went on social media today and said, hey, for quarterback. Oh yeah, bleep out there for a minute for the call.
Yeah, for a minute.
But no, Pitts is going to Miami at 4. Cincinnati's got to pick between the tackle and Chase. My guy in Cincinnati said they're going Chase. So, Pitts still trade out of 4 with Denver. Then they can come back. That could be like a trade man, Justin Fields trade. Or, they can go back and get John Clay. I don't think Penny Cole slipped to 9, but 4 and 9 are in play. Pitts is not in play. That's a pure smoke screen from Atlanta. And so was them kicking the tires on Chase. So it's the tackle or the quarterback.
Mr. Poole, what say you, sir?
How you doing, Ned? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, pretty good, brother Pooh. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, doing excellent. You know, we're all talking about the first round and everything like that. What do you think that the Falcons need to concentrate on with the remaining? I think they got 9 picks, but I'm not going to ask you for all 9 picks. I'm not going to put you out there like that. But at least, you know, the next draft pick that they, after the first round, where do you think the Falcons are going to go if they do go quarterback at number 4? What do you think they should concentrate on after that first round pick?
Yeah, well, definitely their weakness, Tyron. Second round, them taking a Creed Humphrey, the center out of Oklahoma, or Dickerson, Landon Dickerson from Alabama, the Remington Award winner. Because you know they're weak at left guard. And, they had a center last year. You can bring the young guy in and battle it out. One of them's center, one of them's left guard. In the third round, you can definitely see him going running back or defensive edge rusher. But you know you can double back to running back in the fourth, fifth. So if you got a edge rusher there that's slip, Russo is slipping, but I don't know if he's gonna slip that far. But yeah, you definitely have to get some help at the defensive end position. And the third round might be too late, so maybe you do take that in the second round and double back to the lineman later. You know, they've been getting beat up in the trenches, so we're going to see a lot of linemen drafted offensively and defensively. Running back, they're going to definitely grab the quarterback. If they don't get the one high, they'll get one later. Matt Ryan's on the roster, so it's pretty obvious where they're going for the bulk of the draft pick.
Speaking of defense, question from social media, Todd Affiliate Man saying, why did the Falcons let DeMonte Casey go? So the guy seemed to be a real ball hawk. Was that a salary situation? What was going on with that, D-Leg?
No, they got him. He was from a ruptured Achilles. Probably wasn't going to be ready to train. And they're probably like, hey, if you don't get anything open market, we'll talk to you around training camp time. So, you know, he went pretty cheap to Dallas. So did Keanu. And, you know, the new defensive coordinator right now, like the smaller safety. He's about 185 pounds. So he might want a little bit more beef back there, a little bit more experience. So that might be why DeMonte Casey was not re-signed.
There you go. Well, we're about to wrap it up here. 2 more comments from social media. A good friend, offensive coordinator Hardy, talks about the skills of Mac Jones. He said, hey, prime example, look what Mac Jones did to Georgia.
Right.
But at the time was rated one of the top defenses in the nation, and he dominated them. He also comments and says here on the next one, he talks about Mac may not have the physical tools, but he's got that game. And everybody talked about, all the guys in the NFL, D-Leg, are talking about his mental ability and his ability to go through his quote unquote progressions. But it just seems odd to me that they would move up all the way to 3 to get him. I mean, to me, I think you get him outside of the top 5, I would think.
Yeah, I thought that too. And, you know, John Clayton's one of my mentors, and we've been talking over the last 3 weeks about it. And he was like, hey, look, John Lynch is not calling the shots out there. Remember, Shanahan hired Lynch. So it was Shanahan who made the call on trading all these picks to get, you know, his dream quarterback. So, you know, then it started to make sense. And then there's one picture, I'm going to tweet it out later. Shanahan's at Ohio State talking to Justin Fields during the second pro day, and he won't even look the kid in the eye. So I might be reading too much in that picture, but I'm like, that's kind of disrespectful to go all that way and not look that young man in the eye and, you know, ask him to run the plays or do whatever you were asking him to do. And the other thing, Trey Lance, he was working with John Watson's quarterback coach, but Kyle wanted him to work with John Beck, who is Mac Jones' coach, so they can see him run his stuff. So it was Mac Jones or Trey Lance for Shanahan. Justin Fields wasn't his type of guy.
Well, I guess the big question is here, and I can't believe we're already at the 9:30 mark, so we're about to wrap it up. But I think the biggest question you have with Justin Fields is the unknown about how it is for the hometown guy to come back and play for the hometown team, and especially with the always still out there in the atmosphere Michael Vick hangover. There are a lot of people that want to see a running quarterback because they miss Michael Vick, not because the NFL has changed, but because they miss the excitement of Mr. Vick. And when they see uh, Fields with his, he obviously can't run like Mike, but that big cannon of an arm and the ability to escape traffic and to make things happen. I think a lot of fans are just, they want to have that kind of quarterback be their quarterback. So, but I think it's going to be interesting if they do draft him, how he handles the pressure of being a hometown guy and being the guy that everybody wants to unseat the incumbent, and how he handles that. Because he had to deal with a little bit of that with Georgia, and he ended up at Ohio State. So that'll be the big question for me. All right, we got to call this thing to the end. So when we do that, we always go around the horn to make sure that everybody knows about how they can find out more about you and find out how they can keep up with you with blogs or social media and the like. I'm going to pop this one last comment up here before we go. And then we're going to go around the horn and let everybody have the floor. There's Mr. Hardy chiming in as well, talking about, the whole Mac Jones thing. All right. First things first, we got to go to the Super Bowl champion, Mr. Tyrone Poole, the man. The floor is yours.
But again, I'm honored always to be on your show, Reverend. And again, thank you, Tree, and D-Led is always an honor. People want to try to find out what I'm doing. Tyrone Poole 38 on all social media platforms, and also my foundation, Tyrone Poole 38 Foundation.org. Thank you guys for having me.
Tyrone Poole 38, before he goes on, make sure I popped it up on the screen. My glasses, reading glasses, have fallen to the floor, so I can't read it. Amen. But again, it's Tyrone Poole 38. You can find him there. And please, guys, follow him on Twitter, follow him on social media. You will get all of the anecdotes that you get here on the show, you will get with him. Tyrone, we appreciate you, sir. Until the next time, God bless. All right. Esquire par excellence, D. Orlando Ledbetter, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Reverend Simmons, for having me on the show and coming in, and appreciate Brother Poole and Sister Tree. You can find my work at D. Orlando AJC and on the internet at ajc.com. Thank you.
There it is. D. Orlando Ledbetter. Now, of course, to the Queen, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate everything that you do, and appreciate D-Led and Tyrone for joining us always. And you can find me on social media. Yay! I love it. I love it. I love purple. There's my Instagram and social media handles. It's Latresa, and also Ms. America International 2020.
There you go. Yeah, we put the purple up there, guys. You see that we did that especially for the Queen, so we wanted to make sure that we did. And of course, before we sign off, always your main man, Mr. Todd, has to give you the sign off, and he says, "Great job as always to the crew." So we appreciate that.
Julio going to the pets.
Right? Yeah, he ain't got no sense at all. I love my man. Listen, guys. Of course, you can find out more about me. You can follow the show, please, on social media at Real Talk Sports 7. Like I said, again, my glasses have flown somewhere, so I don't know where they are. But again, follow us at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. We'd appreciate you doing that on any social media platform. Again, we're there on Twitter. We're there on Instagram as well. Please check us out there. Also, if you want to follow me personally, you can follow me at Minister J Sim. Again, hope I'll be able to find that. I can't find this, I don't care. Anyway, follow me there at Minister J Sim. Again, you can call me 678-410-9833, because as Brother Poole let you know, we are looking for great stories. So if you have a great story, please go ahead and call me 678-410-9833, and we'd love to have you or your family or coach on the air. Before I go, guys, I'm a minister, so I want to tell you this is a tremendous time we're in now. It's time for you to get to know the Lord. If you don't, please, ma'am, please, sir, get to know the Lord today. Okay, because nobody loves you like Jesus. Not your mom, not your auntie, not your bae, not your boo, not your BFF, not your ride and die, not your partner. Nobody loves you like him because he made you and he died for you. That's right. You, ma'am, you, sir, can go to heaven by simply believing in Jesus Christ. Of course, first of all, repenting of your sin. And here's what happens. If you do that, two things. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven, and you become an adopted child of God and have all the rights therein. That means you can live a life well lived on the earth, not problem free, but you'll be part of God's program. And when you die, you get to go to a happy place called heaven and stay away from that nasty place called hell. I don't know about you. I like option number one a whole lot better than option number two. All right, guys, until next week when we hopefully will join us again. God bless you, right? Have a good night. So long.